Shoot that sucker!
Again, here is the sound of guitar heaven.
That was almost churchy.
Churchy, right?
That was almost church-like.
Yeah.
Like I just went to church. Today we have Chris Gage.
Hey, that's me.
I've only known Chris for a couple years, but if he's not the most versatile musician in town, I'd like to hear who else is. He's a great guitar player. I thought he was just a piano player. That shows.
I thought he was a singer.
I've only lived here for 3 years, but he's a great guitar player, piano, producer, arranger.
Yeah.
He can sing like Jackson Brown. He has a duo with his wife, Christine Albert, that is great. Without gushing on him anymore. He's played with Roy Clark for several years. Most people know now he's Jerry Jeff Walker's guitar player. So well versed in the country world, old country, new country, whatever is country anymore now.
I don't know what it is, but old country for sure.
Has had a standing gig at Don's Depot for how many years?
22 years.
22 years in Austin.
Every Monday.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No.
So just good to have him. Where do you want to start, Ulrich?
It's all you.
Gear, geez.
You're already in the groove.
Let's
You know, before I moved here, I was playing piano for Roy Clark, and I hardly touched a guitar for 8 years, living in Tulsa.
Okay.
And when I moved to Austin, I tried not to tell anybody I played the piano because I wanted to get guitar back going. Again. And a word got out, and pretty soon I stopped into Don's Depot, and he saw where all I had played the piano. He said, "Well, you need to be playing here." So.
But you're glad you still play guitar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
And now I do both. I usually take both to a gig.
So if you had to choose as a side guy, if you could go on tour with Elton John, would you want to play the guitar or the piano?
Guitar.
Well, he plays piano.
Well, you know what I mean.
But yeah.
Side guy.
Yeah.
I definitely choose guitar on a side job just because it's more expressive.
Yeah, you can kind of.
And actually, the Jerry Jeff Walker gig is perfect for a guitar player, and John Inman will tell you this too, because it's a 4-piece band. He sings and then you play.
Wide open.
End of story.
Right.
That's not who's going to take the fill. I'm going to take the fill. I'm the only one, and it's so much fun, and I've learned so much.
Tell us about your Strat here.
This is a 65 original Strat. The wood is original. You know, I'm a player, so Ed Reynolds is my guy, and these are all new tuners.
Ed Reynolds.
All new frets.
Name drop. That's our name drop.
Oh, whenever.
Yeah.
Anybody
There you
drops
go.
one, we got to ring the bell.
Crusty old Ed Reynolds, and new pots, and I have to get. I use this as like you use your pedal.
Right. Yeah.
So my pots go bad, and this one's bad right now, but I got it worked out while I was sitting here because it was scratching when I walked in.
Yeah. With this volume.
And the pickups are original, except this happened to be one that Ed had on the. He was rewiring my middle pickup, and he put this in as a substitute, and I liked it.
Oh,
so
cool.
I think it's a. I'm not sure who made it, but he had it sitting.
So the other two have been in that guitar for
Yeah.
52 years.
Yeah, and I bought this. It's a 65. I bought it in 75.
Oh, see.
In Tulsa or?
No, in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Okay, because you're from South Dakota.
I'm from South Dakota.
So how did you get out of South Dakota? Like, I'm from Oklahoma, and you don't stay there. If you want to do music,
Right.
you kind of have to branch out.
Right.
So what was your path out of South Dakota?
Well, I had a good band called the Red Willow Band that traveled nationally, our own little deal, and we had a fiddle player named Kenny Putnam, and he answered a cold call when Roy Clark decided to hire twin fiddles, and he got the gig mainly because he was the only 50 fiddle players sent in tapes, right, cassettes in the day.
Oh yeah, cassettes, sure.
And he was the only one that said Merry Christmas because Christmas was coming, and he got the gig.
I remember that.
They all played good, is what they said, but he was the only one they wanted on the bus.
Yeah, it's kind of like a resume. Use a font that sticks out.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then 2 years into him doing that, I had a little band going. I was still in South Dakota, and he called and said the piano player's upset. He's going to quit, and he's not going to give any notice. He said, if I walk in right after he walks out
and say Merry Christmas,
I got a guy, and say Merry Christmas,
I got it. So
I think I can get you this job, and I kept the job for 8 years. Played all over.
Right. So with Roy Clark, you did Hee Haw, all the.
Yeah, I was on Hee Haw over 100 times.
The Nashville, whatever it was back when I was a kid, I guess.
And I got to the funnest thing was everybody wanted to play with Roy, so I got to play with Floyd Kramer, and Danny Davis, and Boots Randolph, and Glenn Campbell, and everybody. all the guitar players wanted to sit and pick with him. Chet Atkins, you
Yeah.
know. So we would do shows with all of those cats, you know.
How do you see the Nashville world different than the Austin world?
These days,
Good or bad?
you know.
Anytime. I've lived in Nashville too, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have my thoughts. So I'm always interested in what other people think.
I never lived in Nashville. I was always just
Okay, so
in
you
and
kind of
out.
commute. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So I really don't know what it would be like to. I would assume you'd have to get on a bus.
Yeah.
To make a living.
Yeah, you have to
and-
disappear for a while.
Yeah,
right.
and in Austin, I've done some of that, but I'm able to just. I'm lucky. I've got weekly gigs
Right, you've
that
got
are
house.
well attended.
Yep.
And I like to stay home and run the studio like you do.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. You also run the studio.
The studio is a big part of what you do, right?
It has been. You know, it goes back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes the studio's just cracking, so I don't have
Right.
time to play.
Right.
Or there's other times when there's nothing happening, so I better get out and
Yeah.
hustle some gigs.
Mhm.
Moonhouse Studio, which is actually in the neighborhood.
Real close to here.
Not even three blocks.
Thank you.
Studio shout out to another studio.
Yeah.
We're all
It
friends.
took us back roads all the way here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No traffic.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. We talked about the guitar. Your pedal board's pretty similar to mine. It's kind of a,
Yeah, there's not much to
a
it.
player's pedal board. I recognize a lot of the stuff on
It's
there.
a flyers
Yeah.
pedalboard, huh? Like you can
Flying
take.
friendly.
Do you fly a lot with this, or?
You know, I haven't. This is actually a new board for me. I used a Boss multi-effects pedal for 20 years.
Okay.
And I still have 3 of them. Like when they
On your
die,
tours
I'd buy,
and stuff?
I'd buy a new one. And
Uh-huh.
I've got, that one's just full of presets. So I've got like a couple banks of presets that I just, I hit it and everything's the way I want it.
Mhm.
But I kept seeing you guys fiddling with knobs and I wanted a little
Yeah,
piece of
right.
that. So I put together just a
Oh, that's
tiny
perfect
little,
size.
tiny little board.
And you
yeah.
got the sound you wanted out of the multi-effects?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Now that I hear this, I realized it was a little thinner.
Yeah.
But I was playing through I've got Music Man amps,
Yeah.
and it's a 100-watt amp.
Which one's the combos, or?
The 212.
No, I
HD.
use just a single 12.
Okay.
But it's 100 watts.
That's a lot of
What are they
heavy.
called? XD12 or something?
RD.
RD, yeah.
RD 112.
Those are great amps.
Real
I like
short
them,
and
yeah.
squatty.
I've got 2 of them. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really just a little bit
Yeah.
smaller than
Yeah.
a deluxe.
Okay.
Those are great amps.
Yeah, and I keep a JBL in it, so it's fat and bassy,
Mhm.
and
Hmm. So you got away with the
yeah.
digital multi-effects.
Yeah. Plus, I'm usually playing through amps that'll break up.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And when I fly, they usually rent me a, what are those things? The Blues DeVille, the,
Oh,
the
right.
410s,
Yeah,
or
pretty,
Mhm.
yeah, pretty. You can do anything.
Mhm.
So your style, I would call you. I see a lot of myself in you. Just you're further down the road playing less than me. You're not a blues guitar player. You're not a country guitar player. You could play an Americana gig. You could do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
What do you see yourself as? Who are some guitar players where you just kind of think, yeah, I'm in that vein?
Well,
I mean, you're obviously yourself, but
somebody asked me where I learned to play the guitar, and honestly, one day the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour came on a rerun, and I realized I play guitar a lot like Glenn
that.
Campbell.
Well, that's a good
He
one.
uses his thumb
Yeah.
like I do, and clean picking, and spending so much time with him and Roy Clark, and they're both just clean as a whistle pickers.
People my age probably they forget about Roy Clark, but he's like a guitar
he's a
legend.
monster.
Right.
Yeah, he could play a little Spanish. He'd play Tico Tico. Up and down the neck like that, and never missed a lick.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But fast.
Yeah.
He had the fastest right hand I've ever seen.
And you did that for 8 years. Wow, that's a long time in sideman years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys want to play a little? I don't know. Play a little something.
Well, I have a
Unless
few
you
more
got some more
questions.
He's got an
Yeah.
idea.
Okay.
I have some
Okay.
questions. Usually I would ask you about guitar stuff, but I feel I should ask you something different. What role has your singing had in your development? I mean, as a side guy, obviously you don't get to sing that much.
Right.
But you developed your voice on the way. So how did that happen?
You know, I've always had. I was the lead singer in the Red Willow Band.
Okay,
And
okay.
I've always done side gigs,
Mhm.
and honestly, 22 years of singing at Don's Depot
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
every Monday night,
Mm-hmm.
and I get a lot of people up to sit in,
Mhm.
but I make them wait an hour. So I do an hour by
Yeah,
myself at the piano,
Mhm.
and I sing, and it's kind of my rehearsal time.
It is.
And I have the whole room. There's no monitor, so I'm
Mhm.
using the PA to project my voice through the whole room.
You should go see this.
I've been there.
He
man.
Oh,
was
you've
there-
seen
he
it.
was
Okay, you've
a
seen it.
couple weeks ago. He
Okay.
sat in. We
Okay.
played together.
So you know.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, Will Taylor.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier. I think I play like a singer. I think, in fact, I can play better guitar if I sing along.
Mhm.
You know, if I scat
That
along.
makes sense.
You know, you get compared to George Benson or whatever. But it's just.
Do you do that also?
It
Yeah.
just helps me play. I actually play differently when I'm singing along.
Uh-huh.
It opens up something.
Uh-huh.
And then, but it also makes me keep my guitar licks down in my vocal
Right.
range instead
Yeah.
of going way up. You know?
Right, yeah.
But I think I like the guitar to soar out like a vocal.
Like a
Mhm.
vocal.
And
Yeah.
I like long notes, and I like
Uh-huh.
melodies,
Melodic,
and
yeah.
I'm not afraid of major scales.
Uh-huh.
I like this. That's why I wanted to start with the U2
Yeah.
thing, because
Yeah,
it's major chords.
Mhm.
There's no blues licks in
Yeah.
there, you know.
Mhm.
I like the blues too, and I like country blues. But
Mm-hmm.
I think singing, I'm always singing along in my head, and
Mhm.
sometimes on the mic.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So kind of, you could say your vocal, like externally and internally, it's kind of the core of your musicianship in a way.
I think so.
What
Yeah.
you're hearing
Yeah.
and what you're singing, it's all one and the same thing.
And it's an instrument, and
Yeah.
you know this. You're
Yeah.
you're a great singer. It's an instrument that you have to take care of,
Mhm.
and you work on your tone as you go. You
Mhm.
know, some
Mhm.
days it's thin. It's like, oh, what's
Yeah.
missing? And I gotta dig a little deeper
Mhm.
into my chest to
Mhm.
find the
Mhm.
round tone.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Right
like
on.
you get a bad amp sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
what am I gonna
Yeah,
do?
work around it, right?
Nice, yeah. Sweet. Yeah, we should play some
What
more.
were you gonna play?
I don't know. I was gonna play maybe something slow, so slow, bluesy and dirty.
There you go.
some cops called on that.
Jesse Lafave in
That
F
was-
sharp.
That was
All right.
fun, yeah.
But like you said with the vocally, you know, like just as Lincoln. It's all like George Benson territory
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
Maybe a little
I want a bass player and a drummer in here now.
I know.
We should get a full band.
I'm glad
Full
you
band,
guys
yeah.
are here. I thought, am I going to sit there and play the electric
Oh,
guitar?
heck no.
That's great.
No, we wouldn't. We have to play.
Yeah.
We couldn't watch somebody
Yeah.
else play for
Very
that long.
nice. And so what about the kind of jazzy side of things? Because you have that phrasing in you too. I mean, have you ever ended up playing jazz standards in a bar? Or?
Yeah, and more on the piano. I love jazz guitar. It's not my forte, but if your guitar player is watching, there's a book. It's called The Mickey Baker Approach to Jazz. I think it's called.
I need to read that. I'm terrible.
And,
at
Mickey
that.
Baker. Okay, I've never heard of
You
that.
haven't? There's
No.
2 volumes, and I'm telling you, on page 1, you get this. You get this. On page 1,
Okay.
and then it
Page
goes
2.
on from I don't know. I
That's
usually
kinda
just
like-
stop at page 1.
Rhythm changes in a
Jeez.
western swing context. more,
Exactly,
yeah.
but it's-
Right. So is that guy more of a western swing player, or
You know, I'm not sure what his background is, and it's old. It's from the 50s,
Oh,
but I think he's a jazz guy, you know.
you have to be to write a book.
But it's yeah, it's the you know, no one to walk with all by myself, no one to talk with, but I'm happy on a shelf. Ain't just behaving, saving my love for you. I know for certain the one I love, to the flirt with you, I'm feeling love. Ain't just behaving, saving my love for you. You know, and all the Western swing guys.
yeah?
That's Eldon Shamblin was the rhythm guitarist for the Texas Playboys.
Playboys, okay.
And I met him,
Shambling.
and honestly, he played a Strat, not much different than this. He played I think it was either number 1 or number 2 that Leo Fender gave him, and it had a plastic bodyguard on it that he never took off.
Huh.
But if you listen to old Bob Wills, he's always moving. You'd think it was the bass player walking around, but it's this guy.
chromatic
He's
Yeah. We were
Red
talking with
Volcar
that.
can do this
Yeah, he
all
did.
day
Yeah, we
long.
talked with Red about that. Yeah. Yeah.
But like
It's so musical. Gosh,
Wow,
there's a
yeah.
lot going on there.
Yeah.
B.B. King's rhythm guitar player was that way too, like a different chord on every quarter note. Yeah.
Jeez, yeah,
To
that's-
really just sharpen attack.
I just didn't learn that way. I'd have to start at the beginning to pick up some.
Well, it's usually jazz players that end
Yeah.
up in other genres, right?
I don't.
Yeah.
And they're just getting bored playing the same
Yeah.
root notes over and over.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's on your list, but I'm gonna drop a name, Mitch Watkins.
Oh,
I need to
yeah,
get-
Mitch.
I need to
Oh,
contact-
man.
I
We need to
to
get
talk-
him on the show.
I'm
need
in
to
a
contact
church band at Riverbend Church, and I play acoustic guitar. And for some reason they have me out front in front of the band, and the whole band is jazz professors at UT.
yes.
They all have offices at UT.
Yeah.
Right.
I know
But Mitch is back there warming up every morning when I'm drinking my coffee. I get to
in the morning.
I learn what he tried to learn. Go home and figure out what that
Yeah. What was
that weird chord he was playing that day, you know. And
Uh-huh.
Now
that's
we
all.
need to
Yeah, Mitch was my professor at UT.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when he was there, you know, because he was gone a lot, we would just play tunes. Just
Nice.
sit down and play.
Nice.
Yeah, most of learning guitar is just being around and being exposed.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot from a book, but
Mhm.
every riff or classic rock, it's just all from watching somebody older,
True.
and then.
And
that's
also
how you
having
learn it.
kind of like a emotional experience, you know, like you listen to somebody, like, God, this sounds so good. I have to know how this.
I can't
Yeah,
do that.
I have to be able to play
Right.
like this.
Yeah.
And this, like, it stays with you over years.
Oh, yeah, we remember who played it.
Yeah.
What was when you guys were young? What was your practice routine? Did you sit down and learn stuff, or did you run scales, or?
Gosh, I couldn't play it.
You know, I was a piano player first, so I got the hand of this book, basically, and I learned some finger rings, and then I just played whatever I was playing on the piano.
Oh yeah.
Played on the guitar, basically,
Yeah.
transferred stuff, played some Bach stuff, some more
Jeez.
from this studious
Yeah.
side, you know, from the conservatory. That you've been spending time in country bands.
Yeah, lots of
He's got it down.
Yeah, you got it down. Well, very nice to have you.
Hey, thanks,
Yes.
Ulrich.
Yeah, it was our
Jesse, you guys are great, man.
pleasure.
That was fun.
This is Chris Gage. Gage. You know, I misspelled your name. I'm sorry for that. I thought it was Cage, like John Cage.
Oh, some people do.
There is a
Yeah.
Chris Cage, though.
Yeah.
Gage.
No, there's another.
Oh, there
There's
is
an
a
actual
Chris Cage? Is he a
I
guitar
clicked- I
player?
clicked on his page by accident.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's an Austin guy.
Thank you.
Shout out to Chris Cage, too.
Oh, Chris Cage. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks on the next episode of Austin Guitar Heaven.
The Hedgehog.